So hello and welcome back to the Dharma-life podcast. I'm your host, Aloise.life, and today we are talking about the 9 stages of spiritual evolution and development. I often get asked this question, where am I in my spiritual process? And this video is going to share with you what you can expect since you've woken up. So many people have spiritually awoken over the course of the last 2 years, but they really don't understand what the process is and what's ahead of them. So this video will explain to you the 9 different stages that you go through when you become or wake up to your spirituality. So if you're watching my video, welcome. My name is Aloise.life. I'm a transformational teacher, creator of the Dharma-life Academy and host of the Dharma-life podcast. And every week we create and interview people who will help you on your journey to 5D. Find out how to live a life in alignment with your soul. This is why we came. If you have just spiritually awoken, congratulations. It is the most incredible journey you will ever take, but I'm not going to lie to you, it's not the easiest. It is called your hero's journey for a reason. You are here to climb Jacob's ladder. You are here to be a fully-fledged, multidimensional being. And I am going to help you and serve you and support you on your journey. You're here to fulfill your purpose. You're here to make the world a better place. And honestly, this is the most rewarding journey I think I've ever taken. You know, it's such a personal journey, the spiritual journey. I was talking to a client of mine this morning and she was saying that she got this sign and this synchronicity and this is happening. It's incredible. The universe actually talks to us and responds to our energy and our frequency. And so I really want to give you an overview and insight into what the different stages are so you can see where you are, first of all, and know what to expect. So in the comments below, when you're watching this video, I want you to put where you are in your spiritual evolutionary process and what you're coming up against. New level, new devil. As we go through this process, there's going to be different things that we are needing to work on. So stage 1 is waking up. Now, this process can look very different for different people. My own journey, my own story was I hit 27, 28 and Saturn returned to my chart. If you know anything about astrology, you know that when Saturn returns to your chart, it marks the end of childhood and you're going into adulthood. And often we can be given a quite dramatic event. You know, I speak to clients and they say, oh, it's the time I had my first child, or I lost my dad at that age, or something happens. In my case, my mum tried to commit suicide and I suddenly became the member of the family that was sorting out my mum, sorting out my dad, trying not to fall apart, organizing everything. I literally went from childhood into adulthood. And this for me was the biggest spiritual wake-up call I ever had. I'd love to hear your awakening journeys and stories in the comments, so let me know. It doesn't have to look quite so dramatic. Often people can awaken in beautiful ways. Often people are awake when they come in. But in my experience, a lot of people I know have had relatively dramatic, you know, their first child is born, they lose their mum, they lose their dad, they get ill. Because what happens is when life is going along at the same rate, you know, we don't have to change, we don't have to alter, we don't change the way we look at things, we just see the world and reality in a certain way. And that was my story. I remember before everything happened with my mum, I thought I had a 2.4 family, very middle class, very kind of boring. Yes, my dad was a bit angry and whatever else, but we were quite a normal family until I found out about the history of depression that had been hidden in my family. And what happened for me was my paradigm shattered at that point. And this is often what happens. What we think to be true isn't. And so many people have woken up recently with obviously the coronavirus, with everything that's happened. And obviously you're now seeing the world in a different way. And you're like, wow, I can't believe everything I've been told is a lie. So it can be quite a messy process. It can be, what's the word I'm looking for? Confrontational. because obviously you've been used to living in a certain world in a certain way, and suddenly the world looks totally different and you have to find your feet in this new world, and that can be quite scary. But waking up ultimately is also very, very exciting. So if you're listening to this and you're at the waking up stage, I would say, well done, congratulations. Oh my God, this is going to be such an exciting time. You do realize when you wake up how you have been cruising on autopilot and how you haven't really been awake. You have been probably wandering around a little bit like a zombie. And actually, when you wake up to the fact that you're a spiritual being having a human experience and you are the creator of your reality. And things start to get interesting. And actually, as much as the spiritual journey is messy, you actually get your life back because you start to feel and you start to experience and you start to create. So stage one, waking up. And as I said, that can look in different ways for different people, but it usually can be quite messy. And it doesn't always necessarily, it can be quite kind of, as I said, confrontational. Like for me, the amazing thing that happened was I established this connection with my guides where I had this quite dramatic thing happen. I actually got voices in my head communicating with me about the situation. And of course, you know, you're talking to a girl who never really, I'd been to see a psychic once, but I had never really had any experience of spirituality or faith or connection. And actually that was the key thing that was missing from my life. And now when I look back at it, you know, I suffered with depression and anxiety for a long time. And I think the reason is that I didn't have this sense of connection. So this is what you guys will be developing over the course of your spiritual evolution. You're going to be developing a really amazing connection. One is waking up. Two, your job is to start to heal. If you imagine in the process, you're in your bottom chakras, often most of us have trauma. We have some type of trauma. I pretty much think that most human beings have gone through some type of epic event. You know, it can range from horrendous things like child abuse, physical abuse, depression, anxiety, alcoholism. You know, it ranges, and it can, you know, be not as dramatic as that. But you will have things that you need to heal from. Basically, you will be carrying past pain. And the number one thing that we do in the Dharma.life Academy is help people heal their past pain. Now, this isn't necessarily past life pain, this is this life pain. But it is a huge part of your spiritual evolution. It is really important that you take time to heal. Now, with coronavirus, a lot of people finally got to step off of the hamster wheel when everything stopped and we were asked to stay home. People were able to heal. People were able to stop, look at their lives and see what needed to change. Often when we're on this hamster wheel, this treadmill, we just have to keep going, and we're in this survival mode because we're literally trying to survive and really survive the life that we've created. So many people were able to stop and start their healing journeys over the course of lockdown. So how do you heal? Well, you will know what it is that you need to focus on. You know, in my case, it was anxiety and depression I had to heal. In another person's case, it might be abuse. In another person's case, it might be eating disorders. Take your pick, whatever it is you're working through, make sure you commit and take time and you put your focus and your energy on to healing. And I would highly recommend you get some support, because your process can speed up. One of the girls in my community, like literally, she joined us in February, it's now July, and she has done her whole spiritual evolutionary process in about 5 months. And that is because she's had our support and our guidance. And when you know what to do, it's not difficult. But of course, nobody knows, or nobody's really been told what to do. And I can tell you my own journey, I've just found all this stuff out by trial and error. And now what we've done in the Dharma.life Academy is created a process for people to go through, which speeds up their evolution. And why should you do this? Because you're taking back your power, you're taking back your sovereignty, you're building your connection with the divine. You are understanding that you can create anything you want. And this is what we need. We need all of you. You've been called up now. You need to commit to this process, because we are the ones that are creating this new earth. The more powerful we become from a positive perspective, the more we can create the world we want to live in. So stage 1, waking up. Stage 2, healing. Need to heal. You need to put focus on it. How do you know if you've healed? Well, does the situation that you went through still trigger you? If it still triggers you and you can't talk about it, you've got more healing to do. And that is okay, but that's a really good barometer for you guys to tell if you still need to do more healing. So stage 3 is getting worse. Yes, you heard that correctly. What? I have to go backwards? Yes, you do. Well, you don't actually. You're going forwards, but it can feel like you're going backwards. Often when we start to heal, we will have a healing crisis. We will have a week off work. We will be crying our eyes out. We will have all this trapped emotion that we have pushed down, that we haven't dealt with, will come flooding to the surface. Our bodies are very, very clever. The universe is very, very clever. Our being knows when it is time to start this healing process, and you will experience some type of healing crisis. The saying, it gets worse before it gets better, there's so much truth in it. If you imagine all of the emotions and the feelings that you have pushed away, say you've had some type of childhood trauma or some type of childhood abuse, to survive, you will have locked that away somewhere. And of course, when you're now taking time to heal, the universe goes, oh my God, this is amazing. We can bring all this stuff to the surface because that person needs to get rid of it. So you will experience, or I'd say pretty much most people in my experience do have healing crises. And again, if this is happening to you where you're, why am I so emotional all of a sudden? Why are all these things coming to the surface that I try to forget about? If you imagine all of that stuff had been trapped inside of you and you have pushed it down to such a degree, for you to heal, for you to raise your vibration, you have to let this stuff go because it's dense. It is low level emotional vibrations. It's anger, it's frustration, it's resentment, it's anxiety, it's trauma, it's pain. We do not want that inside of you. So you will be transmuting it and it will be coming to the surface. And also you are learning to feel again. You have to heal it to feel it, but you're learning to feel. Most people have shut off their feelings and they're running on autopilot. When you start to take time to reconnect to who you are at a deeper level, you will start to feel emotions. And this can be a real shock because people aren't used to feeling. They're so used to burying their emotions in a glass of wine or eating their emotions or stuffing them down in some way, shape or form, buying food, buying clothes, buying designer goods. All that stuff is coming to the surface. So this is why stage 3 is getting worse. And this is why you may feel like you're getting worse, but you're getting worse to get better. It's almost like this breakdown to break through that we've talked about before in previous videos. So again, if you experience some type of healing crisis, if people come to me and they go, oh, I've got to stop crying, I'm like, yes, well done, because all that stuff that you have pushed down is now coming to the surface. And of course, what happens is all that negativity that you've pushed down comes up and comes out, and you raise your vibration. So it is definitely a positive thing for you to do. Now, stage 4 is you start to get results. Life starts to shift. Life starts to change. You start to actually see the fruits of your labor around you. You get happier. Maybe you make some changes in your life. You get a new partner, a new job. You let go of an addiction. You heal your past pain. So you feel more worthy. You feel much better about yourself. Stage 4 is very, very positive. Life gets better. And stage 4 is amazing because this will inspire you and empower you to carry on with your spiritual purpose and your spiritual journey. And as I said, the hero's journey, many are called, but few are chosen. And lots of people don't continue, they don't continue to work on themselves. They don't continue to lean into their healing. But it is so, so worth it. Stage 5 is all about reclaiming your power and reclaiming your sovereignty. So at this point, people are learning and starting to really build the life that they desire. They are really looking at creating the future that they want. They've had some success, they've done some healing work, and now it's time to implement and empower themselves even further to get the type of results that they want in their life. You get a little bit of results, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Stage 4, it's starting to feel the benefit, and now it's all about taking that to the next level and reclaiming your power to a higher degree and a higher level. And at this point, you're in your solar plexus. Your solar plexus is all about your personal power. You're really starting to reconnect to your sovereignty, and you're really starting to connect to the being that you've always wanted to be. So stage 6, now you might find at stage 6, you are going to have to shift your viewpoint, your focus, and you're going to have to start to forgive maybe people in your life that you have been holding resentments towards. And you might be the type of person that everything's everybody else's fault, and you can't necessarily see the other person's point of view. And so you're holding resentments about people, and you can't move through when you have a disagreement with somebody, or you can't move through. You hold on to stuff and it collects in you, and you're projecting your stuff at other people. So this stage is all about forgiveness, and it's all about looking at who you need to forgive, and you need to really go in deep and really forgive that person that you never thought you'd be able to get over. And again, we teach a process in the Dharma.life Academy to help people move through this. But everything is a lesson. And so there will have been positive things that will have come out of every single interaction. And your job at this stage is to really understand what they are and then move through this forgiveness stage. So stage 7, we're now coming into our throat chakra, and this is all about speaking your truth. Many, many people that I see and I work with are blocked in this chakra. It's closed, and that's because of a vow of silence that they've taken in a past life. It's one of the things that we work with them on. We show them how to clear that. And being true to yourself and speaking your truth is so important, especially now. If you're somebody that's seeing what is happening out there in the world right now, but you're too scared to say anything, you must move through that, because that is your throat chakra being blocked. And you can't be a fully fledged spiritual being if you're not speaking your truth. And you do have to speak your truth in every interaction as well. So we're getting on to the final 2 stages now. Now, I would say stage 8 is coming through the illusion, and stage 9 is your ego attachment. And these aren't the easiest of stages. This is where I am myself. I'm at the ego attachment stage. We are doing this in the virtues. This is what we're practicing in the virtues and in our community, in the Dharma.life Academy. Really encourage you to come and check us out. The virtues is just such a wonderful way to live, and it's such a wonderful way to come through these 2 stages. For us to reach real connection to our 144,000 power, we do need to move through these stages. And so this is something that is difficult to do on a video, because I would say it's a little bit more complicated, and I would like you to kind of be in a process with us to do that. But ultimately, there are lots of consciousness traps at stage 8, and you can get lost in the illusion that is the planet for a long, long time. And we will show you how to navigate that and how to move through those top 2 stages. So it's a very exciting time to be alive and on the planet, because this information is becoming more readily available. This is stuff that seekers, only the kind of upper echelons of society, and only probably priests and monks and very, very spiritual people were privy to this information, and this is becoming more mainstream now. We need people to really, really connect to the spirituality. Having a strong sense of connection to your guides, to life itself, to your higher self, is going to help you navigate what is happening on this planet over the course of the next few years. We've still got a little bit of time to go. We've had a crazy 2 year, where are we, 2021? It's only been a bloody year in of this stuff. And this will go on to 2024. And I don't really think that it gets much, much better until late 20s. So you've got a reasonable amount of time left where the world is going to get crazier and crazier and crazier. And that is part of the illusion. That is designed to take you away from your inner process and your inner work. So you beautiful beings, I hope that was helpful. Let me know where you are in your stage, what number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where are you? What are you up against? What are you experiencing? This is not for the faint-hearted. All of you will have a hero's journey. Going from 1 to 9, you will be navigating your hero's journey. Something is going to be coming up for you to conquer, for you to navigate, for you to move through. And my wish for all of you is that we can speed up that process, that evolution, and we can really help you create a 5D life in alignment with your soul.
Thank you so much for listening to the Dharma Life podcast. I do hope you enjoyed this episode. Please come over and say hello on my Instagram, our Facebook group, and also please let me know what you thought. So if you are listening, please take a screenshot of the podcast that you are listening to. Tag me on Instagram and I will reshare your post, and please let me know what it is that you got out of today's episode. Remember, when we do our Dharma, we are happier, healthier, we live longer, and we have a deep sense of unshakable inner peace.